Well, hello boys and girls, and mummies and daddies if you're watching. Today we're going to start an adventure together. It's an exciting adventure. How many of you have been on an adventure, boys and girls? Perhaps you don't even know what an adventure is. Well, you're going to find out today. Are you sitting comfortably? Have you got your mummies and daddies with you, or you're on your own? Well, whoever's there, sit back and enjoy the story about to come. Before I start this story, I perhaps ought to introduce myself. My name's Tony. I'm a granddad, and so I'm Grandad Tony. And I love telling stories about unusual things. Today, we're going to start a story about an unusual animal, a mouse. Not any old mouse, of course, but a very special one, a magic mouse. How many of you are scared of mice? Well, I can't see if you're putting your hand up, but I expect there are quite a few of you that are scared of mice. So here's a question for you. If you saw a mouse run along the floor in front of where you're sitting, what would you do? Would you squeal? Would you jump up on the chair? Or would you just pick it up and take it outside and put it on the grass? Well, we're all different, but one thing's for sure, everybody will like Magic Mouse. Let me tell you a little bit about Magic Mouse. Actually, I can show you what he looks like. If you look over my shoulder, by the side of the flowers there, you'll see a little mouse. He's a king. I don't know if you can see the one over my shoulder, but he's got a crown. And he also wears a robe, and it's an ermine robe. And perhaps you'd better ask your mummies and daddies what an ermine robe is. But it's very, very posh. And it's very, very expensive. And they're usually a sort of a reddy colour and white. Magic Mouse became a king by the very special deeds he did. And as we go on through this list of stories, you'll hear about some of the special things that Magic Mouse has done. You might be wondering why he's called Magic Mouse. Well, that, my friends, is a very good question. Can you think why it might be? Why do you think he might be called Magic Mouse? I expect you know the answer. He's called Magic because he is magic. There are 3 special things about him. 3 special things that make him magic. Any ideas what those special things are? Well, I can't hear what you're saying, so I'll tell you what they are. First thing about Magic Mouse that's special is his whiskers. Do you know what whiskers are? Well, perhaps if you have a look at your daddy in the morning before he has a shave, you'll see that he's got spiky things growing out of his face. That's what whiskers are. But mice have great big long whiskers. Not very many of them, but usually a few sticking out a long way. So why are his whiskers magic? The reason is that when he wiggles them, magic things can happen. So why don't we all try wiggling our whiskers together? That's how you do it, like this, look. So you do wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And when Magic Mouse does that, magic things happen. Have you tried doing that, boys and girls? I expect you have. What would you like to happen if you had magic whiskers? Oh, I expect you can think of some very exciting things to do. Well, perhaps you can tell your mummy and daddy what those magic things are. The second thing about Magic Mouse, he has a magic tail. The reason it's magic is he can turn it into a lasso. Do you know what a lasso is, boys and girls? Well, if you don't, it's something else for you to ask your mummies and daddies. But if you watch cowboy films on the television, they often have a lasso at the side of their horse and they catch cows with it. They swing it over their head and then let it go and then they catch things with it. And that's what could happen to Magic Mouse's tail. His third magic thing, well, I'm not going to tell you about that yet. We'll come across that later on in the story. Magic Mouse practices using his magic gifts every day. Tries them out on different things. The first 2 he uses quite a lot, but the third one he doesn't use very often. And you'll find out later on why. Anyway, let's get on with the story, shall we? What do you think Magic Mouse's friends think to him being a king? Well, what would you think if your brother or sister was a king? And not only that, but if they had magic powers. We'll find out all about Magic Mouse's magic powers as we go through the story. So let's get started, shall we? What's that? Magic Mouse could hear a noise. Sounds like sausages sizzling and spitting in a frying pan. He put his little paw up to his ear and thought, what's that noise? It sounds like sausages sizzling and spitting in a frying pan. He slowly crept out of his tree trunk just to see what was making the noise. He lived in a tree trunk. He was very, very careful because sometimes animals would try and eat him for their dinner. There was that noise again. Sss. What could it possibly be, boys and girls? All of a sudden, he saw leaves moving in front of his tree trunk. And then a little head popped up. "Oh, Sid, you frightened me," Magic Mouse said. So do you know who it was, boys and girls? It was Sid Snake, one of Magic Mouse's friends. It was him that was making that sizzling noise. "What are you doing slithering around outside my house?" Magic Mouse said. "I've come to tell you something," said Sid. "What?" said Magic Mouse. "I've come to tell you something," said Sid. "What?" said Magic Mouse. "I've come to tell you something," said Sid. "Oh, Sid, you've said that 3 times now." Sid was a bit old and he was losing his memory. "What is it you want to tell me?" said Magic Mouse. "Pardon?" said Sid. "What do you want to tell me?" said Magic Mouse. "Do I want to tell you something?" said Sid. "Have you forgotten?" said Magic Mouse. "Forgotten what?" said Sid. "Oh, let's start again," said Magic Mouse. "What was it you wanted to tell me?" "I can't remember, but I know it's important." "How do you know it's important?" said Magic Mouse. "Well, I know it's important," said Sid, "because I've tied a knot in my tail. That means it's important." "OK, I'll help you," said Magic Mouse. And with that, Magic Mouse wiggled his magic whiskers, just like that. He wiggled his magic whiskers at Sid, and then Sid said, "Ah, yes, now I remember. I came to tell you Mungo and Naz are coming to find you." "Mungo and Naz," said Magic. "Oh, no." "Yes, they're coming," said Sid, "and they'll be here soon." "Oh, dear," thought Magic. He didn't like Mungo and Naz very much. Do you know why, boys and girls? Well, Mungo, he was a bumblebee, and Naz, he was a wasp. His real name was Nathaniel Torremolinos Wasp. His middle name was Torremolinos because he was born in Spain, and his first name was Nathaniel, but people shortened it to Naz. So you know, if your name is Vicky, people might shorten it to Vic. Or if your name was Robert, people might change it to Rob. But Nathaniel, they changed his name to Naz. So his whole name was Naz for Nathaniel, and then T for Torremolinos, and then Wasp. So it's Naz, T, Wasp. Can you say that with me, boys and girls? Naz, T, Wasp. So if you say it fast, Naz, T, Wasp, Naz, T, Wasp, Nasty Wasp. That's why nobody liked him, because he was a very, very nasty wasp. And that's why Magic Mouse didn't want to go anywhere near him. "Shall we hide?" said Sid. "No, there's no point. They'll just find us anyway," said Magic. "What shall we do then?" said Sid. "Perhaps I could use up my daily big magic to get us away," said Magic Mouse. "What do you mean?" said Sid. "Well, although I have 3 magic things I can do," said Magic Mouse, "they can only be used in the forest. And if I use the 3rd one, I can't use the other 2 for a whole day." "But what does the 3rd one do?" said Sid. Magic said, "I don't use it very often because it transports me." "Oh, that's exciting," said Sid. "Well, it is," said Magic, "but the thing is, it transports me, but I never know where it's going to transport me to." I know it will be somewhere in the forest, but I don't know where." "Oh, I like that idea," said Sid. "Let's see where it will take us." "Anyway, wherever it takes us," said Sid, "it'll be away from Mungo and Naz." "OK," said Magic. "Hold my hand. I have to say the magic words. Humbly, bumbly, rumbling Tom, look out somewhere, here we come." Shall we say that together, boys and girls? Because you had to say it 3 times for the magic to work. Humbly, bumbly, rumbling Tom, look out somewhere, here we come. Humbly, bumbly, rumbling Tom, look out somewhere, here we come. Humbly, bumbly, rumbling Tom, look out somewhere, here we come. And with that, poof, they vanished. Just as Naz and Mungo were turning up. Boing! They landed with a splat. "Oh no," said Magic. "Oh no," said Magic. "Oh dear." "What is it?" said Sid. "I know where we are," said Magic. "Where?" said Sid. Where? "Oh no," said Magic. "Come on," said Sid. "Tell me where we are." "Oh, where? And boys and girls, that's the end of today's story. You'll find out where Magic Mouse and Sid had got to when we meet again shortly. Bye bye for now. Bye bye, mummies and daddies.